So today I want to talk about proper warm-up as it pertains to softball and baseball. So as a doctor of physical therapy, I often talk to my athletes after they've been injured and I say, hey, what could have led to this injury? A lot of the time, especially with younger athletes, they have no warm-up or it's a very poor warm-up. So with your warm-up, what you should be focusing on is, first of all, increasing your core temperature, your body temperature by moving around. You should be sweating or close to sweating by the time you're done warming up. That means, you've raised your body temperature, your muscles, tendons, ligaments, things are looser. It's less likely to get injured if you're looser. You're also going to perform better because you're going to be able to move easier. You're not going to be as stiff. It's not going to be like when you get out of bed first thing in the morning. You're going to feel good. You're going to play good. You're going to decrease injury risk. The other issue I see with folks is they're doing a lot of static stretching. So I see a lot of athletes who they tell me, I'll go out, do this, I touch my toes, and then I start throwing. First of all, static stretching is good for increasing muscle length, but it's poor for doing right for athletic performance because you're stretching that muscle out, but then you're not doing anything about that. You're not increasing the blood flow, anything like that. It can actually increase injury risk. The other thing is, with throwing especially, we need to warm up to throw. We do not throw to warm up. So your arm and shoulder should be nice and loose, warmed up before you even throw a baseball or softball, because that's going to decrease your injury risk. Because the last thing you want is, I'm going to start throwing. It hurts making that first throw. Now what I do? Versus if I have a good warm up, I don't have to worry about that as much. So I want to talk through the movements that I give my athletes just so you can use these at home, tweak them however you want. Obviously, it depends on the individual. When I do assessments, I'll usually give people one or two exercises they need to focus on their own. If they have a special, when your low back's tight, your hips tight, make sure you're doing a little extra of these. But this is a good general warm up to kind of get you started. So I usually use the distance between bases for how far athletes should do it. So if you're playing on a 60-foot field, you go down to right or left field foul line, you go through second base, you come back. If it's 90-foot field, you probably need to go a little further. So we still go through second base and back. This whole thing should take you less than 10 minutes because you want to be in, out, feeling good, go to your hitting, throwing, whatever it is that you need to do to get ready for the game, practice, anything like that. So first thing we do is we go out down the foul line. We're going to jog back and forth 2 times. So I'll usually tell people, gradually increase the intensity as you're doing this. Like I said, we should start thinking about getting our core temperature up a little bit. This is not a sprint, but it's also not a walk. You should be moving quickly, but not as hard as you can. This is just trying to loosen things up, get things moving, because we're actually warming up for the warm-up by doing this. So the next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna focus on lower body, start stretching specific things out dynamically with movement. So the first one I like to give are Frankensteins. So we're just walking, kicking our leg up, reaching the opposite arm out when we do this. So just imagine we're walking all the way down, from right field foul line to second base, left field foul line to second base, whatever it is. You're gonna do that with all these just as far as you're comfortable. You may be pretty flexible, you may not be, you just do what you can. So we've made it out to second base. Next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna go back to the foul line. Now we're gonna focus on the front of the leg, our quad. So we're gonna grab one leg like this. You're gonna lean forward, stretch back, take a step. Do the same thing with the other side. As you lean forward, you should feel more of a stretch in your quad, hip flexor area, dynamic movement through there, working on a little stability with the leg that's down. So now we're back to the foul line. So we've stretched the hamstrings, the quad, the hip flexors. Next thing we're gonna do, you're gonna grab your ankle with your opposite hand, like this, as if you're sitting crisscross applesauce. Stretch the glute muscle. You're gonna go up on your toe, come back down. Same thing on the other side. Just alternating sides as we do that. So we're stretching that hip muscle here. We're also working on our calf muscles by going up on our toes when we do that. So now we're back at second base. Coming back to the foul line, what we're gonna do is a lunge. So you're gonna lunge down as far as you're comfortable and twist towards the front leg and twist away. And then the other side, same exact thing. Once again, lunging as far as you're comfortable. If you're able to, great to get low because we're starting to load up those hips, those quads, everything like that. Baseball's a rotational sport though, so we're rotating a lot through our thoracic spine in order for that to happen, kind of loosening things up there. So now we're back to the foul line. We've gone down and back 2 times with our dynamic stretches. So now we're gonna do a few things that are stationary. So the first one, we're gonna separate our legs out like this, work on our adductors, our glute muscles here. So we're just rocking from here to here. We're going back and forth 5 to 10 times. I usually tell people whatever they feel like they need. Once again, just going as low as we're comfortable when we do that. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna warm up our pelvis, get moving through here. So we're gonna do hands on our shoulders, athletic stance, kind of like you're getting ready to field a ground ball. We're gonna do a few of these where I'm tilting my pelvis back and forth. And then a few of these where I'm just trying to twist through here, back and forth like this. So 5 to 10 each way, just trying to loosen up that low back. We see so many low back injuries in baseball from swinging, things like that, where you're just doing this all the time because we don't loosen up this area. and we kind of move as one chunk, but then we start to get tired. That's where issues come from. If we loosen up the pelvis before I move, a lot of those issues go away. So now we want to focus on the upper body. So upper body, like I said, we warm up before we throw. We don't throw to warm up. So first thing, real simple, we're just doing arm circles. We just start small, gradually getting big, 10 to 20 repetitions, and then going back, doing the exact same thing there. Next one we're going to do is you're going to go like this, pulling your hands apart like this. We're going to do about 10 repetitions of little circles here, 10 repetitions of little circles backwards, and then we're going to knead the dough almost like this. 10 times. We're trying to pull our hands apart while we do this. So you should feel this in your shoulders engaging while we do that. Warming up those rotator cuff muscles, getting the elbow moving a little bit, things like that. So the next thing I like to do is just cross body hugs. We're alternating sides here, loosen up the back of the shoulder. We're going to do about 10 of those. And then we're alternating 10 of these. Loosen up the triceps as we do that. You should feel a stretch back here, alternating back and forth. If you really want to feel this, I usually have people hold their glove while they do this, a little extra weight or a weighted ball or something like that, kind of loosening things up there. So that kind of takes us through our upper body. Obviously, we're going to start with throwing. We're going to go slow with that. That'll also loosen up the upper body. You may use J-bands, weighted balls, things like that. I'm not going to go over that here, but that can also be part of your upper body warm-up. The last thing that I make sure athletes do is sprint. So like I said, you should be sweating by the time you're done warming up. You better be sweating after this. So what I'll have people do is gradually increase the intensity, trying for 4 sprints. So to second base back, to second base back. So the first couple, I'll usually have people walk into it because you're most likely to be injured going from 0 to 100 with a sprint. So I'll usually have them just walk and go into a sprint and go. Same thing coming back. The last 2 sprints, we'll start from a stop position. You can just be in a sprinter stance here. You can be turned like you're going to steal a base, and you just, whenever you want, ready, set, go, as fast as you can. Try to sprint through. Slow down gradually. We're not trying to put the brakes on hard here. We're just really working on the acceleration to warm things up. So after you do all of that, so you do some jogs, some dynamic stretches for the lower body, dynamic stretches for the core, dynamic stretches for the upper body, some sprints, you should feel nice and loose. Then you go into your throwing, you're hitting whatever it is. This is a great way to warm up. Like I said, it doesn't replace individual expertise from a physical therapist or anyone that you're working with, but it's a good thing to start with to hopefully prevent injury and improve performance on the baseball and softball field.